Eating a bad meal in Disney is out of the question, not on our watch. Just hang tight, we'll make sure you never have to worry about eating somewhere disappointing on a Disney vacation again. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're cutting to the chase. It's time to tell you about the best restaurants in every Disney park. Whatever your dining goals are, whether they're high-end or something on the go, we want you to feel confident about where you're going to grab your next bite. Let me warn you, there's a lot to unpack in this one, so if you'd like a cheat sheet to refer back to while you're planning your Disney vacation, drop us your email at disneyfoodblog.com/bestdisneyrestaurants. That way we can send you over an easy-to-follow PDF that'll point out the top restaurant choices for each dining category on our list. So let's begin our Disney food soul-searching journey on the east side of things with a trip down Main Street, USA in Disney World. We're headed to Magic Kingdom first. Though Magic Kingdom is a fan favorite park for many reasons, the food usually isn't one of them. Now, stick with me. That doesn't mean there aren't good places to have a meal here if you know where to look. Let's start with the best signature restaurant. That means the best fancy restaurant. Why wouldn't we just start this video by dining in a full-on castle? Go big or go home. Cinderella's Royal Table gives you and your group the chance to dine directly in Cinderella Castle within an ornate dining room that has high rafters, Baroque furniture, cascading staircase, and Cinderella herself. Though the big princess meet and greet aspect of this experience hasn't returned to its former glory since the 2020 closures, you can still get a picture with Cinderella and Cinderella only before you're seated for your meal. Now, what's on the menu here? Cinderella's Royal Table is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're more about the atmosphere of this place and less about the food itself, good for you, because that's the right way to approach it. You may want to book a breakfast reservation for this one, since the prefix menu prices will be much cheaper. Breakfast is pretty straightforward. Pastry plates, baked quiche, specialty wine cocktails, basically the usual things you'd expect from a fancy breakfast spread, which, hey, I'm all for the breakfast food, so basic isn't really synonymous with dull here for the most part. Lunch and dinner come with your choice of appetizer, entree, and dessert, and these options are fine. I can't really praise them for being royally delicious or anything, because you're definitely paying more for the atmosphere here than anything else. The food here is going to be more of maybe what you'd get at like a wedding banquet, like, you know, chicken or fish kind of thing. That's generally the quality you're going to get, which means it's not bad, but it's not like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You've got options like the tenderloin of beef, that's pretty safe, comes with a side of whipped potatoes and seasonal veggies. The Clock Strikes 12 dessert is also a fun meal finale, shaped like the main antagonist of Cinderella's movie, and I'm not talking about that evil stepmother or stepsisters, we're talking about the clock, of course. The dessert is made out of a dark chocolate mousse with a caramel and crunchy praline center, and served with chocolate sauce and a side of hazelnut gelato. And I'm still over here cackling at the name of the When Will My Life Begin chicken and pasta, made specifically for the 50th anniversary celebration. Like, poor chicken, who's gonna break it to him? All in all, this is one of those one and done experiences. Like, it's the best restaurant in there since you get to dine in the Cinderella Castle, which is a lot of fun. However, you're not gonna walk away from this place dreaming about the food for days after, especially since you have to pay $62 per adult and $37 per kid for lunch and dinner. But again, breakfast, a little bit cheaper, $42 per adult and $27 per kid. Reservations for this one are tricky, to say the least, but advanced dining reservations on the Disney website will open up for you 60 days before your big trip, starting at 5:45 a.m. Eastern. So if you plan on getting reservations here, then you best be planning to wake up early the day those reservations go live. Skip the decaf, go straight for the double espresso. All right, the best table service in Magic Kingdom. Now, though I'm not part of the Cinderella's Royal Table menu fan club, I'm the president of the fan clubs for these next two restaurants. And yes, I did say two, because we couldn't just do one, okay? Don't come at me. Let's say you've got a more adventurous palate thing going on. You want something that challenges your tastes a bit, something that makes you go, whoa, I got this at a theme park? Then you're going to want to make reservations for Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen. Yes, that is its full name, over in Adventureland. Skipper Canteen branches off the plot line of the Jungle Cruise with the intention of being a place Jungle Cruise passengers can seek refuge before or after their ride down the Nile and the Mekong and all the rivers. If you're big into restaurants with hidden backstories laced throughout the decor, then Skipper Canteen's going to be your storytelling jackpot. There are so many books and knickknacks and maps and posters and lost items, etc., that tell the stories of the folks who've often stopped by here to rest and meet up before their next big outing. In fact, this place even has a designated meeting room for the top secret society of explorers and adventurers. Where is it exactly? Well, look for the butterfly table. You're gonna have to go through a secret bookcase to get there. But let's take a step away from the restaurant theming for a sec to talk about the equally as adventurous menu options. The menu features individually priced items, so no stressing over a prefix cost here, and they range from Asian, South American, and African influence restaurant's dishes. In the past, we've really enjoyed options like the Hearty Hard Char Siu pork that tastes like chicken because it is, the Falls family falafel, and the Kungaloosh specialty dessert made with African-inspired chocolate cake, caramelized bananas, cashew caramel ice cream, and sprinklings of coffee dust. It's like pixie dust, but more caffeinated. But if you want to get even more adventurous, you can always ask your puntastic waiter, yes, you heard me, puntastic, for the secret menu listings. Skipper Canteen's secret menu consists of exclusive small bites and hidden cocktails like the pork satay skewers, pau de queijo, cheese bread balls, dark Kungaloosh beer, and several other rotating menu options that the restaurant keeps on the DL. But let's say you've got some folks in your party who'd rather not eat something with a whole lot of unique spices and different flavors they're not used to. Then you might want to track down the other table service restaurant in this category that's a little more comforting. The Liberty Tree Tavern over in Liberty Square, imagine that, is set in an 18th century styled home with a more accessible spread of options that you probably find during a traditional Thanksgiving feast. Like Cinderella's Royal Table, you'll have a prefix menu price, but unlike Cindy's, the Liberty Tree Tavern is served family style, meaning the buffet-like options will be brought directly to your table for your group to share in all you care to enjoy fashion. So if there's something you want seconds or thirds of, just ask. Also, unlike Cindy's Place, you're going to find a cheaper prefix price tag here. Expect to pay $39 per adult and $21 per kid. This price covers your starter, the Declaration Salad, which is literally just a basic salad with house-made dressing. I don't know why it's got such an epic name. Along with the full-on Patriots Platter. The Patriots Platter comes with the works. I'm talking roasted turkey, Pennsylvania pot roast, oven-roasted pork with mashed potatoes, seasonal vegetables, herb stuffing, and house-made mac and cheese. And again, this is all you care to enjoy, so ask for more if you want more to get your money's worth. You'll wrap up your meal with one of my favorite desserts on Disney World property, the Ooey Gooey toffee cake made with vanilla toffee cake, drizzled with chocolate sauce and topped with vanilla ice cream. There is so much more going on here than meets the eye. It is heavenly. Another great thing about both Skipper Canteen and Liberty Tree Tavern is that reservations aren't too terribly hard to come by for these. We've often had luck getting last-minute seats at both places, but that being said, it's better to be safe than sorry. So getting reservations in advance for either restaurant will still guarantee your derriere in a cherriere on those busy Magic Kingdom days. Side note, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm loving all this info, then you should check out our epic 2022 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. That's filled with so much detailed information. We're talking about every Disney World restaurant with reviews and our most recent thoughts on that restaurant, even the ones in Disney Springs and the Disney hotels. You can get your digital download from the DFB Store website today. That's dfbstore.com. And if you type in the code YouTube before your purchase, we'll give you bonus discount on your overall purchase. Okay, moving on to best character meal. There are a couple of restaurants in Magic Kingdom where you'll briefly get to meet a character for a quick picture and hug. You got Cinderella at the place I've already talked your ear off about, Cinderella's Royal Table, and Beast on occasion over at Be Our Guest restaurant in Fantasyland, which you will see didn't actually make any of our best of categories on this list. Interesting. But if you want a lot of characters all at once and you want to spend more time with those characters instead of doing a drive-by photo op, the Crystal Palace off Main Street, USA is going to give you that one-on-one interaction time that your little ones might be craving. Or let's be honest, maybe you, no judgment. Everybody loves to hug Eeyore, I get it. So the Crystal Palace is an elegant-looking table service only steps away from Cinderella Castle. By the way, table service just means a sit-down restaurant, in case you're new. Okay, once again, you're looking at a set menu price for your meal, but this time you'll be dining buffet style, so pile on that grub. The price ranges are pretty similar to what you're going to find at Liberty Tree Tavern, but the spread of options is going to be more expansive, featuring foods like seasonal ravioli, shrimp creole, country fried chicken and gravy. In short, you're going to have a diverse spread of options for all sorts of eaters. But the stars of the show here are the 100 Acre Wood characters. Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, and Tigger have joined the party to celebrate a very important day, Friendship Day. By the way, hate to ruin the surprise, but every day is Friendship Day for this group of stuffed animals. And Pooh and friends just recently returned to the Crystal Palace after an extended hiatus, so guests are pretty pumped to see them back and signing autographs again. As of right now, Crystal Palace only serves lunch and dinner, but breakfast will be making its grand return on October 25th. This one's going to be a popular choice for advanced dining reservations, so make sure you're ahead of the game and book your table ASAP. Also, bonus fact for you, kids under 3 do get to eat free at any of these all-you-can-eat buffets. So if you've got some little ones in your party, this might be a perk you'll want to take advantage of. Now, time to move on to best fast food in Magic Kingdom. For the most part, MK quick service food is pretty subpar. You'll find pizzas and hot dogs and chicken tenders and burgers and all the theme park staples that'll fill up your tummies, and that's about it. And there's good reason for that. These are all safer options options for the little kids, so you don't have to worry about them not being able to find something they're gonna enjoy. But if you want safe and speedy food options alongside tasty surf and turf, you'll need to head back over to Liberty Square to hit up Columbia Harbor House. It is anything but subpar, in my opinion. Columbia Harbor House is a quick service location with fried and grilled seafood options like the lobster roll, the grilled shrimp skewers, the New England shrimp boil with shrimp, potatoes, corn, and andouille sausage cooked in a spiced broth, and the trio platter featuring the combo of fried shrimp, chicken strips, and battered fish. That's right, you can have it all. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't. Prices for these entrees are going to range from $10.29 to $16.99, but I'd also recommend swinging by here for a quick basket of hush puppies for $4.49. If you're looking for something a bit more snacky, that's the way to go. You're not going to find them anywhere else. And speaking of snacky, there are actually quite a few fun snack options around Magic Kingdom that may help hold you over before your next big meal. You've got the spring roll cart outside of Adventureland, or the Wendell's Bear Claw, my favorite, hazelnut pastry at Westward Ho in Frontierland, or even the OG and seasonal Dole Whips at multiple locations, Aloha Isle, Sunshine Tree Terrace, also in Adventureland. But if you want to learn about even more quick service and snack options, the team and I created a DFB video not too long ago talking about how we've been able to survive on Disney World fast food and fast food only, which you can check out after this. That's where you're going to find out all the best fast food in all of Disney World. That way, you'll be able to expand your on-the-go and on-a-budget options for your upcoming trip, and you won't be sorry. And now, on to park number 2, a park with lots more adventurous options that, in my opinion, blow Magic Kingdom's options out of the water. Still love you though, MK. Don't you forget that. Yep, we're going to Disney's Animal Kingdom. I bet you thought I was going to say Epcot, didn't you? I'm not there yet. We're at Animal Kingdom first. So after you swoon and sigh over the Tree of Life standing proud in the center of Disney's Animal Kingdom, it's time for you to decide where to go next. Will you take a glowing boat ride through the depths of Pandora, sing along with the cast of Festival of the Lion King, mourn the loss of Kite Tails, I was too young, or will you grab something to eat before your tummy starts to feel rumbly? Here are the best restaurants in Animal Kingdom if you're looking to be seriously impressed. That is. Starting with the signature fancy restaurant, Tiffins, located in the Discovery Island section of Animal Kingdom. This has a theme that sings a similar tune to Skipper Canteen, but just fancier. Here, we're celebrating again all things travel and international. You're going to replace all the puns and all the backstory with real live Imagineering detail and how the park of Animal Kingdom actually came to be. There are 3 galleries or dining rooms at Tiffins that feature global artwork. The Grand Gallery, the largest of the 3, heavily focuses on animal-inspired pieces. The Safari Gallery hones in on the craftsmanship found in Eastern and Southern Africa, and the Trek Gallery is dedicated to Asia-inspired artistry. So you can see these were all sort of founded on the different areas of Animal Kingdom, and you're going to see how those areas came to life based on the Imagineers' exploratory trips and fact-finding missions. Now, no matter which gallery you're seated in, guests are encouraged to get up, walk around, and explore all of the artifacts and tapestries and paintings in each room. Much like its setting, the Tiffins menu also focuses on global influences for its cuisine. We are big fans of the Tiffins signature bread service with the assortment of different Thai and Indian and Brazilian styled breads alongside dipping sauces like ginger pear chutney and the guava jam, not your typical dinner roll. And entrees like the tamarind braised short rib and the butter chicken serve with chickpea rice croquette, English peas, squash, and pickled onion. They have a tendency to be cooked pretty much perfectly, tender and juicy, and all those other tasty adjectives you definitely want attached to your cut of meat. And for an extra enhancement to your meal, you can grab that cheesy, creamy baked lobster mac and cheese, or you can make it your meal in and of itself, since this enhancement will cost you $24. That's the thing about Tiffins. Although the items are individually priced, again similar to what you'd find at Skipper Canteen, main entrees tend to range between $30 and $65. See what I mean by fancy signature restaurant? And that's just for the entree, not including drinks, desserts, bread service, whatever you want to add on. So definitely plan to budget for this one. And if you miss your window of opportunity to make an advanced dining reservation for Tiffins and you're sad thinking about all those carbs you're going to miss out on, you can always try hitting up the restaurant's attached lounge. Nomad Lounge, which in many ways I actually prefer over the signature restaurant itself, is definitely something to have on your list. Now, you know we just did a whole video on lounges and Nomad Lounge took center stage. Well, it's got a gorgeous wraparound patio with great views of the river, and along with its extensive list of drinks like tequila and watermelon-based High Tower Rocks, the South American-inspired sangria, and the brown sugar and Royal Crown Mustang coffee, you've also got a list of small plates to choose from, featuring items directly from the Tiffins kitchen. And yes, that does include the bread service and the lobster mac and cheese, along with several other lounge bites. Even though the atmosphere is very chill here, which could make your kids a bit restless, there are create-your-own entrees specifically for little ones in your party with a handful of grilled meat or veggies to keep them occupied and, more importantly, full. You don't need to make reservations for Nomad Lounge, but you do have to get on the walk-up wait list pretty early in the day to secure your spot. Aim to get in line for this lounge's rope drop, aka 11 a.m., and depending on the park's crowd levels that day, you might be able to get a table right then and there without needing to get on the wait list, if you're early enough. But also note that as people start to park hop away from Animal Kingdom, it may be easier to get a table here in the late afternoon. That said, I'm still rope dropping. Alright, so Tiffins wins for signature restaurant because there really aren't any other signature restaurants in Animal Kingdom, but we're moving on to table service next, so best sit down restaurant, and I feel like this isn't really talked about enough, so let's change that. Yak and Yeti is located over in the Asia section of Disney's Animal Kingdom. You can't miss it. It's housed in a bright blue building with blood orange windows, and on the inside you'll find even more ornate artifacts straight from the Asian continent. We've got a fusion of Asian-inspired cuisine on this menu, which combines Chinese, Japanese, Thai, and Indian flavors to produce standout dishes like firecracker shrimp. I love it. I call it my birthday shrimp because I always like to go there and get it on my birthday. Lobster garlic noodles and chicken tikka masala. They've also got a few shareables options featured on the menu. If you're looking for something light to split with a friend or family member, that's where you want to go. These shareables include the ahi tuna nachos, Korean fried chicken, and lettuce wraps with chopped chicken and veggies to stuff the lettuce cups full with. All the menu items here are individually priced, and main entrees range between $20 and $36. Yak and Yeti's only open for lunch and dinner, but if you're looking for a quick breakfast, just take a few more steps into the Asia area and you'll be at the Yak and Yeti Local Food Cafes, which is Yak and Yeti's neighboring quick service location that's open for lunch, dinner, and a really interesting breakfast. By the way, you can also get a cheaper mango pie here than you'll get inside the actual restaurant. A full slice of mango pie at Yak and Yeti will cost you $12.99, but you can get a mini mango pie at the quick service location for $7.99. Okay, let's talk best character meal for Animal Kingdom. Granted, there's, again, not very tight competition here. Tusker House is Animal Kingdom's only character meal, but even so, I wouldn't shout it out if it wasn't a fan of it. Tusker House is the table service restaurant where you're gonna go if you want to see some of the Fab Five characters dressed in their safari gear, ready to go on their next big adventure. You'll see Donald in his explorer's hat, Daisy killing it in her fashionable safari ascot, Mickey taking our advice and keeping a canteen close by because hydration is very important and Mickey says so too, and Goofy who's actually wearing pants, thank goodness. Now this restaurant has been going through an identity crisis lately. Ever since it reopened after the 2020 closures, it's been functioning as a family-style meal. But on November 1st, Tusker House is going to be returning to its former buffet glory. We don't expect a whole lot to change when it comes to the quality of food, but we do expect a lot more offerings to be available. Currently, you'll get starters, entrees, sides, and desserts all brought to your table, with main options including Moroccan spiced beef, spit roasted herb chicken, green curry shrimp, and Berber marinated pork, which is basically an Ethiopian spice blend with a little bit of a kick, but not so much you're going to scald your taste buds off. This is a great option for those looking to skip those long lines for the character meet and greets later on during your trip, as well as those who want a lot of food to fill up on for a set price. Just keep in mind that Tusker House is on the pricier side of things, $55 per adult, $36 per kid, so don't fill up on a big meal for breakfast if you're planning to eat here for lunch. Same thing applies to dinner. Don't eat at Tiffins for meal number one, then turn around a few hours later to eat here, because both options are going to fill you to the brim and cost you. Okay, moving on to best fast food in Animal Kingdom. I love both of these places so much. Yes, once again, I'm cheating and choosing two. You're gonna have to get used to it. For my more adventurous eaters out there, make your way over to Pandora, World of Avatar, and grab yourself a table at Satuli Canteen. Satuli is themed around a rehabilitated RDA, or Resource Development Administration, mess hall. If you don't know what on earth I'm talking about, don't worry about it. RDA was basically a big group of baddies for the Avatar film, looking to flatten the Pandora area for personal gain. Now, Satuli Canteen is a place where the Na'vi and humans can peacefully come together, share a meal, and marvel over the art of Pandoran culture. I don't know if you recognize a theme going on throughout Animal Kingdom restaurants, but they're all about the cultural arts over here, even the fictional ones. Menu options mainly include create your own bowls, where you'll pick a base like noodles or lettuce, a protein like chicken or shrimp or grilled beef or a combination, and a sauce, unless you don't want any sauce. That's up to you. Bowls range in price between $12.99 and $17.49. But for a slightly cheaper option that's also better for picky eaters, you can order those wondrous cheeseburger pods instead. It's a cheeseburger and a bao bun, so what's not to love? And don't skip out on dessert here. The chocolate cake and blueberry cream cheese mousse are smooth and creamy and just the right amount of sweet. But let's say the cheeseburger pods aren't tantalizing enough and you're still looking for more approachable options to satisfy the choosy eater inside of you or that you love. Flame Tree Barbecue, located near the Discovery Island Bridge leading into Dinoland, USA, has barbecue. Lots and lots of barbecue. You got barbecue chicken, barbecue ribs, barbecue pulled pork, even barbecue mac and cheese. Well, actually, the pulled pork on top of the macaroni is what makes it barbecue, but nonetheless, that one's still one of our favorite options on the menu, and the crispy onion ring on top is absolutely perfect. Entrees here will range from $11.29 to $16.49, and with those prices, you'll get big heapings of food to enjoy. Although the seating is all outdoors, which can be a downer if you're in desperate need for some AC and a lot of it, or if you're in the middle of, like a downpour, the multiple seating sections at Flame Tree are at least covered. Not to mention, you'll get a great view of the Discovery River and of Expedition Everest. Take a look around at the animal artwork while you're here. They've got a Circle of Life theme going on. This is actually one of the very first blog posts I ever wrote for Disney Food Blog like 15 years ago. It was like, why are the animals here eating each other? Yep, this is a predator versus prey setup. So you're gonna see anteaters slurping down lines of ants, owls catching up rabbits, and alligators flashing their big old chompers at fishes. Make you sad? Then maybe dining at a barbecue eatery isn't the place for you, because you're the predator of that relationship. But it is definitely a teachable moment for your kids. Much like any quick service location around the parks, you can mobile order from both Satuli Canteen and Flame Tree Barbecue on your My Disney Experience app. Just tap on the mobile food orders button to get started. You'll be able to select your return window for when you want your food to start being prepared. My Disney Experience will also let you know when the soonest return time window is coming up for each quick service location. Just remember, your mobile order return time doesn't mean your food's going to be ready right then. Your return time lets the kitchen know you've arrived. That way they can start preparing your food to pick up, so it'll be hot and ready for you. Okay, 2 parks down, now we're on to lucky number 3, a park that embraces the glitz, the glamour, the fame of the red carpet, but can it do the same through its food? Alright, Disney's Hollywood Studios may not have adventurous cuisine like you'll find at Disney's Animal Kingdom or dining rooms set in a full-on castle like Magic Kingdom, but the options at Hollywood Studios still have the potential of being some favorites. We're starting again with the best signature or fancy dining in the park. If you're missing when Disney's Hollywood Studios was in its MGM days, then you may want to pay Hollywood Brown Derby a visit on your next trip. Hollywood Brown Derby is a replica restaurant based on the famous Hollywood landmarks from the West Coast. There's a lot going on here you're going to want to check out. You got brass hat derbies used as lampshades, black and white photographs and film memorabilia on the walls, authentic caricatures of celebrities you may know and admire. By the way, the ones with gold frames are real and authentic from the Hollywood Brown Derby. It's like going to a low-key and classier, quieter version of Planet Hollywood, except there's good food here. Now, the menu is made up of individually priced gourmet American options. There are the classics we always return for, like the famous Cobb salad, mixed fresh at your table, and the grapefruit cake, which first debuted at the original Hollywood Brown Derby in California during the golden age of Hollywood, as interestingly a diet treat. But there are also new options that pop up on this menu time and again to fit with the season. Disney World's got a ton of great steak options, but Hollywood Brown Derby does whip up a mean filet mignon with variable sides, and whether you're on a plant-based diet or not, tomato fans of all kinds can appreciate the tomato risotto. It's really, really, really good. I love it. It's been exactly, 2 minutes maybe since I last talked about mac and cheese, so I better fix that real quick. The shrimp mac and cheese here is made with smoked Gouda sauce and topped with herb breadcrumbs, and if you know me, then you know how much I like my mac and cheese to have a little crunch. But Hollywood Brown Derby is a pretty popular destination for guests. If you don't get a reservation for this one, you can always try grabbing a walk-up seat at the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. You won't have access to the full menu, but you will have the opportunity to get some of those starters, as well as the most important entree of them all, that famous Cobb salad. Moving on to best table service or best sit-down restaurant that's not as fancy. Again, we've got 2 to choose between, but instead of comparing them to how adventurous or how familiar the foods are, we're comparing them like this. How much do you really want to talk to people during the course of your meal? Let's say you and your group are a bunch of socialites who like to poke fun at each other as part of your love language, then you might want to try 50's Primetime Cafe. 50's Primetime is located in the Echo Lake area of Hollywood Studios, welcoming you with its rotating sign in pastel hues. Inside the restaurant, you'll step into a house that's caught in a simpler era where black and white tube TVs and radio clocks were considered state-of-the-art technology, and floral curtain patterns were the height of interior fashion. 50's Primetime Cafe is all about the American comfort cuisine, so expect options like Aunt Liz's golden fried chicken, Grandpa Jean's chicken pot pie, Cousin Megan's traditional meatloaf, and Mom's old-fashioned pot roast, and milkshakes, which come in flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and peanut butter and jelly. By the way, you can also get flavors added to your soda pop here, which I love. In case you haven't caught on yet, 50's Primetime Cafe is a family affair, and when you're here, you're part of the family. Don't think of your server as your server. In this restaurant, they're your cousin or your aunt or your uncle, and they're gonna treat you as such, meaning they're gonna call you out spot if your elbows are on the table, or you're not putting your napkin in your lap, or heaven forbid you didn't eat all your veggies. Every cousin out there is going to create an entirely unique experience for your group. While one group may have whipped cream sprayed onto their uneaten green beans and served back to the table for dessert, another group at another table may have to stand in the corner and sing I'm a Little Teapot if they didn't wash their hands in the bathroom. Now, it really is a fun and funny experience, and if you don't want to join in on the antics because they can be a bit much at times, you can always let your cousin know before you're seated that you'd rather just watch all the shenanigans instead of being a part of them. On the flip side of things, let's say your family would rather have a meal where they don't have to worry about the servers pulling stunts around them, but they also don't have to worry too terribly much about chit-chatting with one another. Not in a mean way or anything, but sometimes it's just nice to turn your brain off for a bit and just relax in the AC, you know? That's when SciFi Dine-In becomes the better fit. SciFi places you and your group in a drive-in theater, so you'll be eating in an indoor parking lot inside a convertible-shaped table as you wait for your food, and during your meal too, you'll be able to sit back and watch a bunch of cheesy black and white B-roll sci-fi movie clips play out on the big screen. It's honestly one of the most uniquely themed dining experiences in any of the parks, and really that I've been to, period. The lighting is dimmed for maximum effect, and the menu reflects an elevated version of what you might actually find at a drive-in back home, if those still exist in your area. Just like 50s primetime, you can order a nice, thick and creamy milkshake to go along with some all-American classics like onion rings, fried pickles, burgers, and smoked wings. You're going to be sitting face forward during your meal because you're in a car after all, which is why it can be kind of difficult to have a conversation with your group members sitting behind or in front of you. And though you're not going to have like a mind-blowing meal here, the atmosphere is worth checking out at least once. SciFi Dine-In and 50s Primetime Cafe are both hot ticket spots, so you're going to want to jump on those advanced dining reservations 60 days out. But if you go to book reservations and either of these places they're already gone, don't just give up yet. Check back in periodically to see if any reservations happen to reappear, since sometimes guests will have to cancel their reservations for one reason or another, and that gives you the opportunity to grab those tables. Cancellations also happen on the day of your Disney visits too, so if you want to check and see if there are any last-minute openings or walk-up wait lists for you to join, check out the dining tab of your tip board on the My Disney Experience app. That's going to let you know which restaurants are still accepting same-day reservations. And depending on the time of year you visit, you may be surprised how many options become available. Does that mean you need to rely on this last-minute system? No, but it's an awfully nice plan B. All right, time to talk character meals in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Again, not very stiff competition going on here. Disney's Hollywood Studios really only has one character dining experience in the park, but it's a really unique one that gets overlooked. Hollywood and Vine is a buffet-style restaurant located on Echo Lake. What you get is a lot of food options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can already probably predict what's on the menu for breakfast. Omelets, eggs Benedict, chicken and waffles, things that are typical for breakfast, but a little more upscale than you'd find for your standard hotel continental options. Lunch and dinner have a variety for you to choose from, with things like sour cream and chive whipped potatoes, roasted mushroom farro risotto, slow roasted crispy pork belly, mac and cheese with shrimp and bacon. Oh, there we go, mac and cheese again. Tell you the truth, this one has a little bit too much going on for my liking, but you already paid for this stuff, so you might as well give it a nibble and see what you think. Now, is this a meal you're gonna walk away from saying, wow, I can't wait to tell my friends back home how amazing and different that food was? No, but the big reason to go here is for Minnie's Seasonal Dine. The theme of Minnie's Seasonal Dine changes throughout the year, so depending on when you visit, that's gonna determine what the restaurant and characters are gonna be decked out in. This year, we kicked things off with the Silver Screen Party, which ran from January 4th to February 28th, followed by Springtime Dine, which was March 1st to May 30th. Those beachside vibes partied their way through the summer vacation during Summertime Dine from May 31st to August 11th. Now we're into the Halloween Dine season between August 12th and November 7th, and that'll be followed by the holiday season's Holiday Dine, starting on November 8th. But Minnie's Seasonal Dine only happens during lunch and dinner. If you book a reservation for breakfast, you're going to have a totally different experience that the younger kids in your party may like even more if they're big Disney Junior fans. In the morning, Hollywood and Vine hosts the Disney Junior Play and Dine breakfast. Characters for this meal do rotate out, but you might have the chance to meet Fancy Nancy, Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and Roadster Goofy during this one. And much like Cinderella's Royal Table, the breakfast dine is also cheaper than the lunch and dinner ones. Breakfast is $42 per adult, and lunch and dinner will be $55. Important side note here, while you're budgeting for these pricier meals before your trip, don't forget to over budget. These prices I'm giving you are directly from the Disney World menus that you can find online, but they do not include gratuity, tax, or any extras you may want to tack on, like a specialty cocktail or meal enhancement. So consider on top of that initial price how much extra you're going to need to chip in once you get a whiff of that final bill. All right, best quick service in Hollywood Studios is next, and it's triple whammy time. I'm not going to give you one quick service, not two, but sorry, we have to do 3 this time. First, we're gonna start with the least crowded of the bunch with the most options. This is Backlot Express. This is located in Echo Lake, and it's just a stone's throw away from Star Tours. Typically, this side of Hollywood Studios isn't as popular as the side with all the shiny new stuff like Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, meaning you'll have less of a crowd to fight against and lots more opportunity to find a place to sit without breathing in someone else's bubble. Backlot Express is themed as a production warehouse, but if you're just running in to grab food, you'll completely overlook the props, the paint, the blueprints lining the shelves, the walls, even the ceiling of the dining room area. So remember to look up from your food every now and then and check out the Imagineering because it's really fun. The menu here is very safe, like your standard theme park cheeseburgers and chicken tenders, but every once in a while there are a few more unique items on the list here, like the teriyaki chicken bowl that comes in tofu form as well, the Cuban sandwich, and the smoked barbecue pulled pork burger. Granted, there are a lot of other places in Disney that do barbecue way better, like Flame Tree over in Animal Kingdom, but the barbecue at Backlot Express isn't that shabby, so how's that for an endorsement? But the best part about Backlot Express is the dessert. One dessert in particular. It is the Wookiee cookie. Now, the Wookiee cookie is made with vanilla cream smashed between 2 oatmeal cookies, topped with a milk chocolate sash. We love it. It's been a consistently tasty friend of ours, so if you're looking for a unique Hollywood Studios sweet treat, there you go, you've hit the jackpot. The Glimmer and Shimmer Blondie can also be found here, and that's a pretty noteworthy sweet treat find too. The reason we're careful about recommending that one is that we're not sure how long it's going to be around since it is a 50th anniversary treat. It's made of gooey toffee, toasted coconut, salted caramel, buttercream, and festive gold nuggets. And get this, it's only $4.49, and that's not a bite-sized portion we're talking about. It's huge, and it is absolutely shareable with other people in your group. Now, let's move on to some busier territory, Toy Story Land, to pay a visit to Woody's Lunchbox. Woody's Lunchbox doesn't have a whole lot going on, but what it does have is unique and will hold you over for your afternoon rides and shows. For breakfast, you can get the breakfast bowl, which mixes potato barrels, which are tater tots, smoked brisket country gravy, scrambled eggs, and green onions. They're all together like a breakfast salad minus the lettuce. For lunch and dinner, you got a variety of sandwich options like the grilled 3 cheese and the barbecue brisket melt. You can also order tachos here, which are like regular nachos, but instead of chips, you got tater tots. And all day long, you'll have access to the Lunchbox tarts. Those are like fancy Pop-Tarts Disney edition. All the seating for Woody's Lunchbox is outside and very limited. Although these tables do have umbrellas to help block out some of those intense Orlando sun rays, there's not a lot of protection here against the sweltering heat or driving rain. So you may want to take your food with you on the go and, as Meet the Robinsons would say, keep moving forward. And lastly, we're going to get a little intergalactic and hit up Ronda Roasters in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. That's the problem with giving you the best counter service. There's just so many different types here that could appeal to very different eaters, and so that's why we're giving you 3 in here. So Ronda Roasters specializes in one particular item, Ronto wraps. Now, what is a Ronto, you ask? Well, it's a beast native to Luke Skywalker's home planet of Tatooine. The pitmaster droids keep hard at work around the mechanical spit, making sure all this meat is cooked perfectly. And not to give you a peek behind the curtain or anything, but this is what's really in your typical Ronto wrap. Roasted pork, grilled pork sausage, peppercorn sauce, and tangy slaw wrapped in pita bread. If you're still feeling plagued with guilt over eating a Ronto beast, there is a savory veggie option here too. The Zucchini wrap made with grilled zucchini, smoky chickpea onion slaw, creamy garlic tahini sauce, and fresh cilantro, also wrapped in pita. And if you're here right before or right after you get in line for Rise of the Resistance after Rope Drop, you can order a Ronto morning wrap, which has the same grilled pork, peppercorn sauce, and pita with the addition of eggs and shredded cheddar cheese. Basically, Ronto wraps remind me of a really unique looking and tasting hot dog, but if they're a little too unique for you and you'd rather pick up a hot dog that looks a little less Ronto, you can pick up a gourmet hot dog from Fairfax Fair off Sunset Boulevard, which is the street you enter when you're heading toward Tower of Terror. Now, there's nothing else good to eat on that street except Hollywood Scoops, so just go to Fairfax Fair and Hollywood Scoops. Okay, sorry, I guess that was 5 things that I just recommended. Sorry. And now for the final park of the Disney World lineup, we are headed to Epcot. If you're big into trying as many different foods as you can possibly fit into one vacation, then Epcot is your park. Epcot's got it all. International, comfort food, super sweet, and super satisfying, so tracking down the best isn't all that challenging because it's hard to go wrong. It's not impossible to go wrong, but we'll point you in the right direction. No worries. So let's talk signature. Here's the tricky thing about this first restaurant in our Epcot lineup. It's technically not open, but stay with me here. It's still worth talking about, and I've got another restaurant you can hit up instead ahead if you're looking for some of that theme park fine dining during your visit. Takumite opened in the Japan Pavilion in 2019 and brought with it some of the finest dining we've ever seen since Victoria and Albert's in Walt Disney World. This signature dining experience highlights the natural beauty of Japan. You got the chance to sit in one of 5 elemental themed rooms: water, wood, earth, stone, or washi paper. The water room is the most exclusive of the bunch and requires a separate reservation since it features the chef's table with a specialty multi-course menu of options. But let's talk about what we've seen on the regular menu featured in the other 4 rooms. Although we do have a full review of the water room, if you'd like to see it, that's on the blog. Now, in the past, we've ordered items that featured Japanese delicacies like Nikolai Wagyu bone marrow, camo marinated duck, and the ebi tempura tiger prawn maki sushi. But a big selling point of Takumite is their variety of Wagyu options, which is really high quality Japanese beef. Now, I know some of these signature menus that I've talked about already have seemed pretty pricey, but Takumite tops them all. Main courses here range between $42 and $120. That real Wagyu beef does not come cheap, y'all. And that's just for the main course for one person. Even appetizers can get into the $29 range depending on what you order. Though this menu does feature a la carte pricing, there's also a prefix omakase tasting menu you can order from as well. Omakase translates to "I'll leave it up to you," which is exactly the point of this option. The menu changes to give you a unique multi-course experience every time, which also includes a traditional tea ceremony. That menu is set at $150 per person. Much like Victoria and Albert's, Takumite isn't just a restaurant, it's a dining experience, so expect to spend quite a bit of time here. And although there is a limited children's menu, this might not be the best experience for kids who'd really prefer to spend their day at Epcot riding rides and meeting characters, because this can be a 4-hour dining experience. Now, like I said earlier, Takumite is still temporarily closed in aftermath of the original 2020 closures, but as we continue to see more and more Disney restaurants return to their normal operating hours, we hope to hear word on Takumite soonish. But I'll let you know just as soon as we get any details, I promise. So where else can you go then if you can't rely on that restaurant for your real swanky dinner in the World Showcase? Well, how about leaping over from the Japan Pavilion to another country entirely? LaSalle Steakhouse is a signature restaurant tucked away in a cellar residing inside the Canada Pavilion. This is definitely an intimate experience. The dining room is rather tight quarters, but the food makes up for it. Sometimes. I really hate tight dining quarters. You've got a hearty spread to choose from here. Of course, there are high-quality steaks, which still hold the title of some of the best steaks you'll find on property. You've also got warm Canadian comfort classics like the signature poutine with fries, truffle, red wine reduction, and cheese curds, which I know doesn't sound like regular bar poutine in Canada, but it is delicious for what it is. The cheddar cheese soup is here with applewood smoked bacon and maple creme brulee for dessert, because what Canada experience is truly complete without maple, right? Now, some fun facts about LaSalle. The dining room is actually divided into the Canadian provinces. Your server will probably let you know which area you're seated in early on, but you can always ask if they don't mention it from the get-go. There's also a complimentary bread service here. Carbs are truly the way to our hearts, y'all, especially if they're free and fluffy and delicious. You'll have a few different bread options in your basket, which also represent the different areas of Canada. To sweeten this bread service, literally, you'll be served a side of maple salted butter, too. And LaSalle is definitely a more affordable signature option than Takumite and is individually priced. Though main entree options range between $34 and $59, you can cut that price by sticking with the poutine offerings, which can be something you split or make into your main meal for around $14 to $15. Those are just appetizer dishes. Once again, this signature restaurant probably isn't going to wow the younger members of your travel party, but it makes for a great romantic setting for honeymoons or anniversaries or just a fun, much-needed date night. Okay, moving on to table service. I gotta be real with you, I don't quite know how to answer this one, and that's because there are lots of table service restaurants that cater to lots of different preferences in Epcot, and if you're Disney fans, you know that. So instead of going super in-depth about one or two, I want to quickly spotlight 4 that you may want to look into as you're figuring out your Epcot dining itinerary. If you're looking for the most immersive, Space 220 in the World Discovery area of the park will launch you 220 miles above Earth via Stellevator, where you'll be able to dine in the Centauri space station. The food here isn't quite up to par in our book, though we do enjoy the Blue Moon cauliflower and the variety of themed atmospheric spirits, but the giant views of space out of those massive windows are at least worth one visit. The menu here is prefixed for both lunch and dinner, but you can also order a limited selection of liftoff appetizers from the Space 220 lounge in a la carte fashion. But note there are different reservations available for the lounge and for the actual restaurant, so you'll have to get a reservation for whichever one you want to choose. If you're looking for the ultimate fireworks dining package, Rose and Crown Dining Room in the UK Pavilion not only serves when it comes to comfort food classics like bangers and mash and shepherd's pie, but it also has its own fireworks Lunchbox dining package that you'll need to book way in advance since it's a pretty popular option. For $89 per adult and $39 per kid, you'll be seated at a table on Rose and Crown's private outdoor patio, giving you a crystal clear view of the World Showcase Lagoon. From there, you'll be served a prefix meal including an appetizer, entree, dessert platter, and unlimited beverages to accompany Epcot's nighttime spectacular. Spice Road Table in the Morocco Pavilion also has a similar dining package, but you're going to have a more unique tapas, bite-sized option thing to choose from at a slightly lower price point. But just keep in mind that you don't have to book a fireworks dining package at either restaurant to get a good view of the current Epcot show, Harmonious. There are spots all around the World Showcase that can give you just as good of views, so only go the dining package route if you really want to eat at either of these places while also watching fireworks light up the night sky. If you're looking for another romantic escape, then San Angel Inn Restaurante is definitely hit or miss when it comes to quality Mexican cuisine, but the dining room views blow us away. San Angel Inn is located inside the Mexico Pavilion Pyramid and has gorgeous views of the night market, Grand Fiesta Tour boat ride, and indoor Mayan pyramid with a steaming volcano looming out in the distance. The dining room is pretty dark, but your table will be illuminated via candlelight, creating the ultimate romantic vibes. When it comes to quality Mexican cuisine, we tend to have better luck over at the Mexico Pavilion's second table service restaurant, La Hacienda de San Angel. Although La Hacienda isn't set inside the pyramid like San Angel is, it does reside right on the edge of World Showcase Lagoon, so if you happen to be dining there during Harmonious or whatever Epcot Nighttime Spectacular's coming next year, you might be able to see the fireworks out your tableside window, if you get a table by the window, that is. And if you're looking for quality pizza, Via Napoli Ristorante Pizzeria is located in the Italy Pavilion, which makes sense regarding quality pizza and all. Pizzas are cooked in one of 3 massive wood ovens and come out with a perfect crispy to fluffy crust ratio. By the way, those massive ovens, they are all named after volcanoes in Italy. How about that? If your whole party is ready to show down on the pizza, but you're not really in a pizza mood, there are other Italian specialties featured here that may suit your tastes better, but they're going to be a little pricier than you probably want to pay for what you get. Moving on to best character meal. This may not just be the best character meal in the park, but it is one of my favorite character meals, period and full stop. Garden Grill is located inside the Land Pavilion of Epcot's World Nature section, and although it's family style, all you care to enjoy offerings may feel familiar, this restaurant still sets itself apart from the rest for many, many reasons. For starters, this restaurant moves. No, literally, it spins, but not in a mission space hurt your guts sort of way, thank goodness. Instead, think of like how the Earth circles around the sun. We don't feel it happening, but we notice the changes as it is happening. Same rules apply for Garden Grill. The restaurant slowly rotates, giving you new scenery to look at during the course of your meal, including the scenes from the Living with the Land boat ride located on the first floor. And then you've got the characters. Mickey, Pluto, Chip, and Dale have all come to say howdy, and catch Mickey sporting those super stylish overalls and plaid button-up. Awesome farmer vibes there, Mickey. Now, because of the restaurant's circular layout, it's easy for these characters to come by and pay you a visit multiple times during your meal. That never happens at character meals. Because this is so small and there are only so many tables, you get to see those characters so many times, and it's wonderful for kiddos who kind of feel like they got the raw end of the deal at someplace like Chef Mickey's where they only get to meet the character once. But let's take a look at the food here now. Out of the character dining options I've listed so far, Garden Grill definitely serves up my favorite eats. Now, don't come here thinking you're gonna have a whole lot of say in what you order, because your table will automatically receive the Chip 'n Dale Harvest Feast. This feast includes sides like harvest-inspired garden salad with veggies that come straight from the greenhouses you'll float past during the Living with the Land boat ride, as well as macaroni and cheese, of course, Southern-style spoon bread, aka very stuffing-like, creamy mashed potatoes, veggies, and a berry shortcake. For entrees, you'll be served grilled beef with chimichurri and barbecue roasted chicken. Again, there's nothing super unique about this spread of options, but what they serve is good, quality comfort food, so even if chicken and mashed potatoes seem too familiar to you, rest assured it's going to be flavorful and hearty and satisfying for adventurous and picky eaters alike. Once upon a time, Garden Grill used to also serve up a really solid family-style breakfast, but that's remained temporarily unavailable since the 2020 closures. Here's hoping we hear more about that soon. And speaking about returns we're dying to hear more about, it only seems fair to give a shout out to Akershus Royal Banquet Hall located in the Norway Pavilion, since it used to be one of the few character dining locations where you could meet a bunch of Disney princesses at once. Though its Scandinavian-styled food offerings like smoked fish, imported cheeses, and cured meats were good, the big draw here was that princess lineup where we've gotten to meet Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, Princess Aurora, Ariel, and more. But alas, we haven't gotten to dine in the castle-like setting there since 2020. We're still crossing our fingers we'll be able to re-enter the Royal Banquet Hall for the first time in forever, sometime in the future. And moving on to best quick service in Epcot, again we are caught in a conundrum because there are so many quick options in Epcot that you're going to want to try. And if I talk talked about them all, we'd be here the rest of the day, and I've got to at least pretend I've got a sleep schedule of some sort. So let's talk about one of my all-time favorite things to do across the Disney World parks, and that is eat around the Epcot Festivals. Every year, Epcot has 4 different festivals. Festival of the Arts, which we call Farts, as you know, happens at the beginning of the year. Then there's Flower and Garden Festival, which takes place around spring break season. The second half of summer and throughout the fall is Food and Wine Festival. And to wrap up your year, Epcot caps things off with the Festival of the Holidays. There are so many different booths to try at each and every festival, but don't worry, the team and I like to set you up for success with every new fest, so you don't feel like you're missing out when you visit. First off, you can prepare well in advance with our jam-packed festival guides, which we update yearly, that can be found on the DFB store website. In each guide, we talk about every single food booth, along with what we love, what we don't love, what we think you'd love, price points, full color pictures, everything you need to get a full grasp of what to expect when you start making your way around the festival. We also release our Best of the Fest lists, both on the DFB YouTube channel and our website, which go in depth about all our seasonal favorites. Recently, our list shouted out 2022 food and wine items like the Impossible Meatballs at Earth Eats, the Mini Pina Colada Funnel Cake at the Funnel Cake Stand, the Adobo Yuca Fries at the Fry Basket, and so many other new and returning flavors we gave a DFB Gold Seal of Approval for. One of the nice things about the festival food booth items are the price points. Usually you're going to be paying around $5 to $9 for each item, and that's because the portions normally run on the smaller side of things. That way you can try several different options instead of filling up on just one and wishing you'd had something else. Just make sure to keep track of how much you're spending at each booth. Even though the prices aren't terrible, they do add up fast. One of our big tips is to preload a Disney gift card before you start on your taste testing journey, and that way you know exactly how much you loaded onto your gift card ahead of time, and you'll get an updated look at the total balance as you keep getting more and more items, and you'll kind of know where it's time to cut yourself off. But remember, if you're looking at our Best of the Fest lists, you should have a good game plan in place beforehand. The one big downside of choosing to make a progressive meal out of all the festival food booth purchases is that you're not really going to get a chance to sit down, grab some AC, and have one really substantial meal in a single setting. So if you're looking for an actual quick service location that's going to be able to provide all 3 of those services, Sunshine Seasons in the Land Pavilion on the first floor this time is set up like a food court with several different options at each station. That way, if one person in your group wants something pizza-y and another wants something more stir-fried, you can satisfy both cravings in one centralized location, and you can be pretty guaranteed it's going to be decent. Sunshine Seasons also has a little bakery off to the side featuring seasonal desserts that are both sweet and aesthetically pleasing. I highly recommend the turtle brownie. Even though it doesn't look like much, it's incredible. All right, one more, promise. I just really needed to squeeze in one more barbecue location in this list, and that's Regal Eagle Smokehouse. I love this quick service for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, quality barbecue. Regal Eagle Smokehouse takes its barbecue influence from cities and states that specialize in it. So you can pick up an order of Kansas City smoked half chicken, Memphis dry rub, pork ribs, sliced Texas beef brisket sandwich, North Carolina chopped smoked pork butt platter, and several different barbecue sauces at their self-serve station. And you gotta try the mac and cheese. I can't help it. Mac and cheese calls me like the ocean calls Moana. Reason number 2, Regal Eagle Smokehouse is themed after Sam the Eagle from the Muppets. Why? Because this is the American Adventure Pavilion, so of course this patriotic bird needs his own dining institution. According to the backstory, Sam the Eagle is throwing a centennial barbecue cook-off, bringing together the region's best barbecue in a lighthearted yet super competitive competition to see who comes out on top. It's mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is always the winner here. All right, we made it through. Now don't forget, we've got a condensed version of all these restaurants just waiting to send your way. So send us your email to disneyfoodblog.com/bestdisneyrestaurants after we wrap up here to get access to the ultimate Disney restaurant cheat sheet. And there you have it, the best of the best restaurants to add to your end of the year itinerary or next year's itinerary, or even an itinerary for 2024. We don't judge. Hopefully this helped you solidify some of those dining options you were mulling over, but if you still need extra Disney food guidance, keep in mind that these are just a few of the hundreds of Disney restaurants out there that you can choose from. So keep checking back here with us. Check out the Disney Food Blog website and hit up dfbstore.com for our more thoroughly detailed dining guides, which cover every Disney World restaurant out there thoroughly. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.